I haven't seen my face scan in so long, so I'm kind of tripping out. So excuse me while I collect myself. But it seems like I have come back in the nick of time because it is voting season and we are in the last stretch of voting. And I was supposed to do this video a long time ago, or at least I thought I was going to be able to do it a long time ago, but I just got so wrapped up in everything that I got going on. But I'm here now. So what I want to talk about in this video is I want to go over ways that you can impact the results of the election, even though we are only a couple weeks out from voting. Yesterday was 15 days, so I think today is 14 days before we vote, which just seems so crazy to me. And I think by the time this video actually goes up, it'll be maybe 10 days before voting. Oh my God. Okay. So anyways, in this video, we're going to go over 3 ways that you can still impact this election, even though it's almost here. So without further ado, let's get this knowledge. Oh. So this election was the first election that I actually really got involved. And one of the things that I did was okay, see, that's how many that is. I got into writing letters to voters who were part of a group that typically don't get reached out to by political campaigns. So these were voters that happen to be labeled as under, what is it called? Not underfunded. Underserved, whatever. So these are voters that people hardly, and politicians hardly ever reach out to. So in the process, I adopted, as you can see, 70 voters. And my idea was to, send out a letter to them and make sure that they know that their voice counts and that their vote matters, which is part of what I wrote in the letter. So that's a whole nother thing. So across South Carolina and North Carolina, my letters will be going out today, and hopefully it makes a difference. So it's too late to write letters unless you want to write a postcard to somebody in your neighborhood, or you want to just write a little note and slide it on somebody's door. You may be able to still do that, but that was a program that I did through voteforward.org, which was helping people align with getting other people registered to vote, getting people, out to the polls early, getting people informed about how to vote in this election with COVID and everything and all of that. And so even though something like that may not be possible right now, you still can make an impact by doing phone banking. Phone banking is also something that I signed up for as well. I'm choking. So with phone banking, it's the new wave of door knocking in this time of COVID. And with phone banking, you can reach out to members all across the state. They can be close to you, they can be far away, they can be in different states or anything. And one way to do that is you go to votesaveamerica.com/adopt-a-state. This is where you can adopt a state that might be a swing state in this election. So we're talking about Arizona, we're talking about North Carolina, we're talking about Pennsylvania. And what you can do is you can sign up to volunteer for one of those time blocks, and you will be taught how to phone bank and call voters, and you will also be given the opportunity to impact an election that might not be the one in your state, but it could be pivotal to changing the results of this election. I actually am going to start phone banking this weekend. I have been so involved with writing the letters that I didn't really get to that part and doing all this other kind of stuff. But I'm so proud to actually get into it at some point. And so I will be phone banking for Jamie Harrison because he is the Democratic nominee for Senate for Lindsey Graham's seat, and it's one of the most important elections that I have ever seen. And so I will be working on that, and I think you should too. So Don't think about it as if you have to phone bank for your state. Go to votesaveamerica.com/adopt-a-state, and you can adopt a different state, and you can call voters in those areas as well. So do it. Cool. So method number 2 to change the results of the election, impact the election in the 9th hour. It's not now, 9th hour is 9th inning, whatever. So yeah, we want to impact the election late. As you may recall, Florida gave access to voting to people who had served their time under felony charges. And so those who had previously not had the right to vote, now they have the right to vote. But unsurprisingly, there were loopholes put in the way of people, preventing them from being able to vote, even though they'd already served their time. They came up with a new rule that meant that voters who had felony charges would have to pay fees before they could be able to vote. And I didn't find out about this until I researched where was not Bill de Blasio, that's the mayor of Bloomberg, where Bloomberg was spending his money in terms of changing the election, because I was just curious. And one of the places he was spending his money was to get Florida voters who had these charges. He was paying off their debts. And so what I did is I did my little research, and I found out wegotthevote.org. And what they do is they're a whole coalition that's aimed to collecting money to help pay people's fines who deserve the right to vote, who served their time, and they had this barrier put in place. They have raised 75% of the funds already, and so with every little bit that we can provide at this point, it's going to help get across that mark to make sure all these fees are paid, so that there are so many people who have access and the right to vote because they deserve it as well. So make sure you go to wegotthevote.org. I will put all these links in the description because it's a lot to remember, so that we can help pay a little bit of money, and every little bit counts. It'll add up, and we just need to get over that 25% that's left. So they've raised over $7 million, and we're just trying to get the last bit. So let's make that happen. Last and finally, the third way that I think is the most important method to changing the results of this election is to volunteer as a poll watcher. Typically, poll watchers or people who watch the polls have been elderly people who are retirees, and who might have some comorbidities. And so we're looking at potentially not having as many people volunteer because of COVID and their susceptibility to COVID and the virus and whatever that entails as well. So what we are trying to do is round up as many young people and as many people, able-bodied people, to volunteer their election day. Make sure you vote early so that you can have that day free to volunteer on that day. You can walk your mail-in ballot in. You can vote early in person. You can mail your ballot in right now. Like, as soon as you see this, you need to have mailed your ballot in. You need to mail it in right now. And then being a poll watcher, you can alert to officials if there is any voter intimidation that's going on, or if there's any funny, tricky business that's happening too. Poll watchers are very important to the process of keeping the democracy and keeping elections fair and free. And it's one of the things that I think is often overlooked. And so I'm trying to raise a little bit of attention for this much needed civic duty. So make sure you find out the information for your city, your area, your state, because some of them pay. I don't know if all of them pay, but some of them don't, some of them do. And that's something that, hey, if you can make money by doing your civic duty and serving your country in this way on election day, then what could be better? So yeah. I am glad to be back making videos. This feels good. This feels fresh. It feels natural. And I'm just ready to continue to bring you more knowledge and bring you more facts. And you'll see more of the house vlog stuff coming out. I hope you enjoy those videos as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, and do all those good things. Comment. Tell me, what's your plan for voting day? What are you thinking? How do you feel about this process? And if you don't, then you'll never have the right to vote again. So I'm going to mail these letters off, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.